cupboards of memory. I wondered if I'd known the man who'd died on a gray pavement under a gray sky. Hard to picture the George Saunders I'd known finding himself in the awkward position of staring down the muzzle of a shotgun. Shrug the shoulders, turn the page, look at all the pretty pictures in the travel section, turn up a corner of the mouth in wry amusement at something in the entertainment section. Think sunny thoughts on a sunny day. Anything to keep from wondering what my baby girl and her mother were doing without me. The tinkle of the bell on the back gate disrupted all that sunshine. Brant Williams let himself in and pointed at the mug in my hand. "You got any more of that?" he asked. "Pot's fresh." I waved the mug in the direction of the house. "Help yourself." He passed by without further comment and reappeared a few moments later with an identical mug in his hand. This time he gestured toward the paper in my lap. "You saw the news about George?" I glanced up and saw him wipe his mouth uneasily with the back of his hand, his complexion pale. The bits and pieces of flesh and gristle and bone the medical examiner's office picked up in Montrose Park 5 days earlier had been the remains of the George Saunders I'd known. Brant's expression said it all. "Poor sumbitch ended up in the park like Texas roadkill." He shook his head sadly. "Who'd want to do a thing like that? It's a sick human being could do that to another man." "I didn't realize you were that close." He seemed puzzled for a moment. "I don't know that we were. Just seems a damn shame when someone you know gets killed that way. Bad enough when folks you know pass on. But this..." He sat next to me, picked up the Metro section of the paper, and stared at it, glassy-eyed. "Paper doesn't even tell the whole story," he went on. "Man was taken apart, piece by piece." "How do you know?" "The widow Saunders asked me to go down to the morgue with her to identify the body. Cops asked if she minded answering a few questions while she was there. She asked me to sit in instead of waiting for a lawyer. I guess they don't really think she's a suspect because they let slip a few details they held back from reporters." "So it wasn't a robbery?" "He still had his watch and the ring." "He must have pissed off somebody pretty bad then. Did he have enemies that you know of?" He shook his head. "Oh, not that kind. We had lots of enemies. Banking is cutthroat. Businesses don't make it, banks foreclose. But those enemies would have tried to ruin him financially, not kill him. I think someone wanted information." "Well, they went to pretty drastic lengths to get it. Looks to me more like someone was in a rage. I mean, who carries a shotgun around in the city? This wasn't some punk-ass kid with a Saturday night special or some homeboy with a MAC-10. He waved a hand. "What the papers didn't say is that George's T-shirt was tied around his leg above the knee, like someone was trying to stop the bleeding." He watched me digest this new information. "Widow says he was skittish as a foal on a frozen pond the past 6-8 months. When she pushed him, all he'd say was he's worried about a deal he was trying to work on a condo. He was looking at a high floor of the Bloomingdale's building. Tough getting jumbo loans with this mortgage mess." "I don't follow." "I talked to Whit Piedmont, George's lawyer. George barely had 2 nickels to rub together when he died. Well, no, that's not quite true. He'd put a stock portfolio into a trust for his ex-wife and their son. Left the widow a life insurance policy and the mortgage payments on the new condo.